Do you ever find yourself watching a Marvel movie and wishing you had your gaming controller in your hand? Honestly, who wouldn't want to play a video game as Thor when he makes his big Wakanda entrance? You've got to admit that man spent his XP really wisely. Not only do Marvel movies influence video games though, they're also influenced by them as well. Possibly one of the coolest video game references in the entirety of the MCU came when Scourge had to take on Hela's forces. Not only was this an excellent nod to Scourge's legend-making bridge scene in the comics, but it was also a nod to one of the most influential games ever made, Doom. While fans might know the Doom franchise from the new series that allows you to rip and tear demons apart with your bare hands to the tune of death metal, oh yeah! But in the 90s, it was a bit different. The pixelated first-person shooter from 1993 helped popularize the genre and the innovation into online matchmaking. It also had this super awesome box art. I don't want to throw shade on the new Doom's box art, but which one of these two seems like a game where you get to rip a demon's eye out, huh? Thor Ragnarok clearly had some strong opinions about Doom as well. Scourge's big moment directly calls back to the iconic image of Doom Guy obliterating monsters, all while featuring Karl Urban, an actor who also starred in a little movie called Doom. Right? So Marvel, where's our Scourge the Executioner game, where we get to obliterate monsters with twin AKs to the face-shredding music of Mick Gordon? Square Enix promised to make all of our dreams come true with the release of their MCU-inspired Avengers game. The opening sequence promised a cinematic experience rivaling the movies, with you in the driver's seat of Earth's mightiest heroes. Well, if your favorite part of the movies was watching the Hulk stand in a square for 2 minutes, then you got exactly what you asked for. Seriously though, while the Avengers wasn't a perfect game by any means, it did give us the most Marvel action of the year, since no new movies were released. It also gave us a fresh look at characters who have yet to appear in the MCU. For those that don't know, 90% of the Avengers focuses on Kamala Khan, or Miss Marvel. She's portrayed as the kind-hearted Avengers fangirl who believes in the team so much that her unbridled enthusiasm helps them all get over their angst. At this very moment, the MCU is pushing forward with a Miss Marvel show of their own, starring Iman Vellani. Seeing as the Avengers is the most successful usage of Kamala Khan to date, I'm betting that the MCU version will be almost identical. I wonder if they'll actually show us some of that Avengers fanfiction she's always talking about. One of the biggest surprises in Avengers Endgame came when we met back up with Thor. After the epic events of Infinity War, you'd think he was an epic warrior who slayed enemies and won great battles. Well, if you play Fortnite, then you were 100% correct. To truly signify that Thor had lost his way, they gave him a wicked video game addiction and a new arch-nemesis in Noob Master 69. In a weird way, Fortnite was the perfect game for Thor to play. The game, if you've never played before, slowly shrinks the map until you can't run from your enemies anymore. That does kind of highlight how Thor was living in total isolation in a fort of his own self-pity until he was actually forced to face what Thanos had done. Either that or Marvel got a great licensing deal with Fortnite to advertise the Avengers like crazy. The really weird thing about this is that he plays Fortnite in a game where God of War exists. Do you think a game where Kratos brutally beats up his relatives was a little too close to home? The Avengers is a movie by Joss Whedon, so that means you'd have to watch the movie with the subtitles on to get all the jokes.
I understood that reference.
And that the plucky comic relief character is going to get skewered right after a one-liner. One of the silliest jokes that the series throws out there is when Tony points out that one of the S.H.I.E.L.D. workers is secretly playing Galaga on his workstation. While this initially seems like Tony being sarcastic, it's revealed that there actually was a S.H.I.E.L.D. worker using his billion-dollar equipment to play a game from 1981. It seemed a bit random at the time, but when you look at the ending of the movie, it's actually a brilliant bit of foreshadowing. For those that weren't born before home consoles, Galaga is a fixed shooter arcade game where you have to shoot down a seemingly endless stream of alien invaders that come in various shapes and sizes. Sound familiar? That's because this is more or less the exact premise of the Avengers. Seriously, you could replace the little spaceship with a pixelated Iron Man and just call it the Avengers Battle of New York. Assassin's Creed has been one of the most successful game franchises since 2007. While fans have stuck with the franchise through multiple historical time periods, we're still waiting patiently for the game we've wanted since the first one came out. The game that shows us what it's like to truly be a member of the Assassin's Order in the 21st century. Luckily, there was a movie that pretty much did exactly that. No, not you, Assassin's Creed starring Michael Fassbender. Never you! No, I'm talking about the Ronin scene from Avengers Endgame. Seriously, go back and re-watch that scene and forget about the Avengers context. A hooded assassin getting into a sword fight in the middle of a city certainly looks like Assassin's Creed to me. It's still only a matter of time before Ubisoft gives us the modern Assassin's Creed of our dreams. In the meantime, I guess we can watch that Ronin scene with my PS4 controller and pretend, because I'm sure not watching that Fassbender movie again. Oh gosh. There you have it, all the times the MCU was clearly influenced by the gaming industry. Were there any good references that we missed? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more from CBR.